Labulus. What the fuck? Rule Aletia? That looks cool. These were from the OG Bayonettas. Non-stop climax, soul shaking combat, ultimate combat. Yep. I have never played one. Jean has been added to character select. Okay, cool. Handguns can now be used. Plain pistols. Oh, no. The stay cat, white T-shirt. No, don't care. So wait, no, we're gonna go back to the menus and look at some shit. So we don't. What happened to the whips with the scorpion? That's a totally like non-unlocked thing that we don't have. So the climax earrings have been added. Super Mirror has been added. Super Mirror 2, yep. Platinum ticket. Spike orange. Witch trials non-stop. Sub-challenge non-stop battles have been unlocked. Okay, so this is Bloody Palace basically. It was what it sounds like. Look for a torture cat for the. Okay, so this is witch trials. Fuck.
Let's get down to business.
Alright, let's look at the treasures. Oh, we don't have enough for OG Bayonetta and Bayonetta 2. I don't even know where you get to view the. Oh, it's the gallery, that's right. There's plenty of stuff to unlock. With halos. Platinum ticket. We're gonna challenge Rodon at the height of his demonic powers, so he can fight Rodon again. That is just like a recurring thing, probably. Use magic power to activate witch time when attacked. I think the most disappointing thing for me is the limitation of the weapons. For a game that has so many weapons and summons, like you get the 3 spawns, right? That's fine. I'd prefer to have 4, but I understand that they want to keep taunt on down on the D-pad or whatever. Prevents magic and masquerade rage. Oh, so this is like Super Bayonetta basically. I get that, but like, I think you could have done multiple weapon sets. If in Devil May Cry I can cycle through 4 weapons with 1 trigger per trigger, I think we could have a set of, especially because you can't change the, like you could in the first game where you could have like your hands thing and your legs weapon, hands weapon, legs weapon. And even if you did, like, just give us 4 sets. I think that would make it much better. I remember how it worked in Bayonetta 2 because I've played Bayonetta 2 only once, and it certainly feels like a long time ago. But like, come on, man. I was hoping that it unlocked an accessory that would be like, unlock an extra set of weapons. It's cool that you get to use... You know what, let's just see what she does. I want to see if she has like different... unlockables. Oh. She also gets the... Oh, and all these too. Okay, interesting. Alright, well let me go back to... Bayonetta then. So let me play this again. I'll probably play Tokyo Bayonetta, maybe Pharaoh Bayonetta. I don't know. They're both cool. But yeah, maybe I should just look up what the weapon system was in the old game. Bayonetta 2 weapon system. Or maybe I will just actually load up
Never hurts to review
Bayonetta
the
2 so I
basics
can
of breaking heads.
we might do that real fast actually. So if you want to stick around for that, go ahead. The rest of this is going to be a rant and me rambling about it and testing out a couple things maybe. Being these all here, let's unlock some of this. Guess we do need some of these. We get these. Oh, yeah, that's a good one. So yeah, there's tons of stuff. Like that was the other thing I was gonna say. Is like we do only get 2 weapon sets, but you kind of get like a little bit more with the summons. But it would be nice, cause like to me it just feels like Dante's like these, and I've explained it before. Feel like Dante's Sin Devil trigger moves when you're using them in a combo, right? And then you just have like a shit ton more of them. God, the train's so good. And so like these are kind of like where you have your
burn, don't you?
your other moves. But I really think it would be nice to have A, B, C, and D weapon sets. Oh, you going real ham with that. I do think the costume stuff is cool. Okay, now that I've played through the whole thing, though, it is not my favorite game of all time. I definitely like Devil May Cry 5 a lot more than I liked Bayonetta 3. I think I do like Astral Chain also much more. Now that I know the limitations of everything, like the weapon, all these weapons. See, this is why I'm like, it's such a shame. It's such a minus that. So we got. Okay, let's minus the extra guns for now. We'll say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Potentially 10 if the whips can be unlocked in some other fashion. 10, and then like, we can say 12, optional 12, 13. Like, 11 to 13 different weapons, and you can only use 2 of them at a time. Like, that is really sad, in my opinion. So, we'll compare it to Bayonetta 2 here in a second. I think the costume system, super cool. I'm glad they added this. This is really neat. The demons are also incredible. Like I said, it's like the Sin Devil trigger of moves, and you can just throw them out, and they do mega damage. They're a lot of fun to use, but I don't know, man. Lots of cool stuff, but just limited in some of the worst ways. And then Viola's alright. I just don't think I would ever pick her as a like. You can tell when I go to like do these missions, right? It's like I'm never gonna pick Viola to do any of those. Are you kidding me? Like, why would I? Why would I? When Bayonetta can do way more cool stuff. Like that. Like I guess her charge is supposed to be the like EX of the thing, but there's no way to instant EX as far as I'm aware. Like we can't insta EX a Viola sword. Oh, that's not my games. Okay, let's put in Bayonetta 2 and see what the combos are. Or how the weapon system works. Well, we might just like load into like the first or second level or some shit. We also check out what the level stuff looks like. How many chapters there were, and if I can like vaguely understand how that was set up. Oh, I gotta download something for it. That should take like no time. I can rant about stuff. But yeah, so I definitely don't put it above Astral Chain or Devil May Cry. It's debatable on what it's like compared to the older games. I still think it wins out in the gameplay. I truly do. What? Co-op? There's co-op in that? What the? What if I continue? What does that do? That's about 16 in the other one. And this one too. Yeah, via the levels I can't tell. Here, let's just jump into a witch trial. See what everything's like.
You got halos. I got items. Welcome to the foundation of a bar.
Yeah, we can skip this. Well, we don't even have all the weapons here either. Alright, let's just load in. So there's plenty of stuff I can unlock. Yet in all of the games still yet. Oh, the sight. Okay. So how does this work? Yeah, this also had the, like, you can equip basically up to 4 if you want. 'Cause yeah, we got A set and B set. How do I switch? Oh, this is way different. These are different buttons. Phew! Excuse me. Yeah, if I could have done that. Like, I know they're trying to theme the weapons, but it really limited your options. Because, like, here we still have a shit ton of weapons, right? But, hey, what's Y do? Can I put on little demon wings? Oh, there's little cosmetic changes? Okay. Well, yeah, so what do we got here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6. Oh, fuck. Okay, hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then 8 within the shop. So a little bit less guns, but you can have multiple, or sorry, guns, weapons. You can have more of them equipped at a time. Which I think is much more interesting. From just the weapons perspective. And then it's much easier to mix in the combos. Because then you can do that. I got this for close range. So I think this has a... I think the first Bayonetta was the same as this, where you can...
Miss me, baby?
Yeah, let me see if these are the...
Boring.
These are different.
Boring.
Yeah.
Miss me, baby?
Depending on the gun you have in your main slot, it changes your taunt. But, yeah, so this is how the first 2 games worked. They had, like, this 4-layer system where you can at least, like, mix and match whatever you wanted to. But, the new one is just you get 2 weapons, basically. You have 2 sets, but you only get 2 weapons. And so I'm less of a fan of that. But with the summons, you still get more stuff to do. Oh, that's cool. You get more stuff to use in the overall, I guess, with the summons. Because then you got 2 weapons, but 3... I don't know. No, I don't know. I don't know. What are the magic? What are your magic tools in this? I did not read any of these. Muspelheim. Throws, bewitchments, notes. Yeah, as a traditional hack and slash game, these are probably better. As an overall game with lots of mechanics and shit, probably Bayonetta 3 is more interesting in that regard. But if you're talking pure action hack and slash, I don't know, maybe this weapon system is better actually. That, like, just purely the weapon system. When you throw in the summons, that's where it gets tricky. And I feel like you barely ever run out of magic, but I don't know, because, like, maybe when you play at higher difficulties it's harder, but you're probably managing your magic better at the same time. Versus, what am I looking for? I'm gonna swap back in Bayonetta 3. So I don't know, they're all great games, to be honest. I liked all of them. And there was definitely times in 2 that I remember hating the story, so it's not like 3 is unique in that regard. I definitely don't like the direction they're trying to take the game in, for sure. At the end there, where they're like, oh, Bayonetta and Luca get together. Viola is just called Bayonetta. They just had Luca and Bayo just die, apparently, and they just moved on. Like, it was so much better to have Dante and Virgil be like, oh, we're going to hell to fight off the demons. You're gonna hold up, like, we're going to battle in hell. You handled the fight on Earth because we got bigger fish to fry and we're trusting you with Earth, but we had to do hell or whatever.
Bayonetta.
Like, that was cool. This was like, oh, fucking Bayo's dead. Like, they pretty much are writing her out. Because according to the last game, if they're gonna follow their lore, to any extent, according to the last game, you have like 24 to 48 hours or some shit to rescue somebody's soul from the underworld, and they sure as shit didn't. Like, if she's in school and like doing basically Devil May Cry the business for Rodin, she didn't save shit. She didn't do anything. Viola is just like moving on, and Bayo is dead. So, and they were saying like, hey, it's up to the next generation to do shit. Like, it will continue as Viola, and like I said, I don't think her moveset stands alone. Here, we can hop into training and check it out, but I do not think her moveset stands alone enough that makes me excited to play a Bayonetta 4 that stars Viola as the main character, unless they drastically change how this works. Because her transformation is not that fun to use. These mechanics with the sword throwing are kind of okay, but like, whatever. I still don't understand how her witch time works. I'm not a fan of how Cheshire works compared to how Bayonetta's summons work.
Come back, Chesh!
If they were going to, if they alluded that Rose is more powerful than Bayonetta through the French timeline, that would imply that Rose is actually weaker than the other ones. Not like Nero, where they're like, oh, between mixing human and demon blood or whatever Virgil did, Nero is actually like the strongest. Like, Viola seems kind of mid in that more regard. she has to throw out this sword for Cheshire. I don't know, maybe she'll be able to learn how to summon things without using the sword, and then the sword will just be a throw mechanic and you can charge it. But everybody in Bayonetta can charge their attack, so it's like, this is kind of useless. It's not like, I was trying to say like, oh, this is like Nero's EX moves, but really they're not. When you think about it, when you think about how Bayo's other moves work, she charges all of her moves too, so it's like, it's just a limited Bayo. By comparison. Oh right, this just does this. Yeah, look at these combos options on the right here. You have this, and you have a 1, 2, 3. Which looks cool, but it's much like Astral Chain. It's just there to make your life easier, not to like actually style on them. Like when you Sin Devil triggers Dante, you are both incredibly overpowered, and you can style on it with quadruple S. Like there's a lot of options to do cool things with that ability, or like when you even devil triggering with Nero. There's a very specific utility when you transform, right? Like when you transform as V, you get to access to Nightmare. When you transform as Nero, every single move of yours has an echo. When you transform with Dante, it just normal devil trigger, it extends and adds like EX moves basically to all of your attacks. If you Sin Devil trigger with Dante, you're a whole ass new character with new moves. When you Devil trigger with Virgil, you get your doppelganger, which is a puppet character beyond my comprehension, if I'm being totally honest. I don't know how to really combo with that. And you can also still Sin Devil trigger, which also is like Dante's, where you get a whole other moveset and shit to do and like all sorts of fun stuff. Like, there's very specific utilities to every single thing, which is why probably Devil May Cry 5 is still going to be my favorite hack and slash of all time. Very closely and sometimes mirrored with Astral Chain because of the dual character Legion. I looked it up the other day. The Legion access of being able to control 2 characters and then swapping between the Legions. It's very fun. And even though Astral Chain only has 3 weapons and 5 legions, I think it is, swapping each weapon has a very clear utility. Again, it comes down to how the utility works. There's a very clear utility of what... Now I have to load back into Bayonetta in training mode. But like, when you think about Astral Chain, you have the big sword, which is like your heavy damage and like staggering thing. You have the baton, which is like your quick assault thing, and you have the pistol for range stuff. So there's very clear utility. And then even your legions, you have like the shield, you have the blade, you have sword, because there's like big blade, there's like sword. Oh no, shield's the big blade guy, I think. Whatever. There's... No, wait, no, there is like the buff shield guy, I think. There's barrier. Fucking, I gotta look it up now. Astral Chain Legions. Sword, arrow, arm, beast, and axe. Got it. Okay. So yeah, sword, obviously is your DPS. Arm is like a heavier DPS. Beast is... I mean, they have like other outside of combat abilities too. Axe is like the barrier. Arm is like grabs and like things like that. Arrows, obviously. The range, I think beast is just like fast paced, like aggressive. Well, they kind of describe them here. But yeah, it's like fast movement, basically, because you can like ride it and shit. So they all have like very specific things that they accomplish. Whereas Bayonetta, with these, I mean, this is true of the other ones, except you can mix and match the weapons. But, like, okay, obviously these guns, these are all like the basic mid-fast range things. But then you got G-Pillar, I would say the saws, I haven't used this. This is like kind of like a medium of these, but these are like your 3 heavy options, right? The fist, that's like an armor break, armor break, armor break, very heavy. You got ranged, which is the yo-yos. This is like legitimately ranged. This is just like far range. And then we didn't mess with this. I always fuck that up. But then fan is like your mid-range. This is your range. This is a kind of mid to long range, but it feels like a long range because it has so much reach. Let's see what these do.
Breaking heads.
So this is another range type thing. But you have multiple ranges, range types. Which are cool. It's good to have like options, but it gets rid of the utility of like what certain weapons need to do. And so it's just, it comes down to personal preference, but then again, you can only have 2 sets at a time. So you're picking like what's my range and what's my heavy versus like for Bayonetta 2 when I had scythe and swords, that was like, okay, I got my heavy, oh god. I got my heavy scythe for like big damage. But then I have the like tiny swords to do like medium range, and then I had the archer's bow to do actual range, and then long whip to do like medium to far range attacks, or like crowd control. So it's like your crowd control and then you solo focus with the arrow, is what I remember. And then the scythe is like also crowd control, and the swords are like fast follow-up. This is like, what do I pick? Right? Because it's like, oh, do I want armor break and range? Well, then I lose speed a little bit. That's why it's like I defaulted to these, because these gave me speed and armor break. And then this gave me some range and armor break as well, where it's just like, I could pick one of these other ones, but then I need a heavier weapon to balance it. So it's more of a balancing act with these weapons than it is with everything else. Like, there's like, quote-unquote, more user control, but at the same time, less. Which I kind of have an issue with. And so this is why I'm not going to put it as high as Astral Chain or Devil May Cry, because everything is very designed and you have access to everything that you need at a given time. Versus Bayonetta 1 and 2 gave you like this freedom of choice, except this one feels more limited because they give you more weapons, but less control. Because you can't just swap out pieces of them. Because then that would cut the list in half, right? If you did it with the Bayonetta 1 and Bayonetta 2 system, you can cut your options in half. Where you can still get, like, what could be the usefulness of Abracadabra and, like, the guns or something, while still also having, like, the mic stand with G-Pillar. But you can't do that. And so that's why I'm like, they limited the weapon system and I don't like that. And they tried to balance it with the demons. But I just don't think it works out as well. It's definitely fun. So yeah, I don't know. I'd have to think about, I still have to think about if I actually like this one the most. I just think I'm probably swayed by how fun it is to summon demons, and the terrain is so goddamn fun to use. And it's just like, all the demons have really fun abilities. But yeah, I don't know. If I don't like this one the most, then it's Bayonetta 2. I'd like Bayonetta 2 more than Bayonetta 3 in that particular case. Because then it's not ruined by swapping out the Viola levels. It's not... It's more focused in its gameplay design. It's just, it's tough. It's tough to pick. I just know it's not in my best game of all time list anymore. 100%. Like that's the thing I can say for sure. Probably still my favorite game of this year that I've played. If I'm not mistaken, there might be something else. Let's see what. Let's like take a quick look of games that came out this year. Games 2022. I did not play Elden Ring. So just don't even bother with that. I'm still waiting for it to go on sale because that combat is too slow for my tastes. All right, let's take a look. What do we got here? What did I play? I have not played Forbidden West yet. God of War Ragnarok comes out in like 4 days. I have played Gran Turismo 7, but it's not like a game that I would say is something I'd put in for Game of the Year. I did play Babylon's Fall. I do like this more than Babylon's Fall. That had some good components to it, but that game's about to be yeeted and deleted. Yeah, so out of the games that I've played this year that I'm looking at in this list, this is definitely probably my game of the year. But I can understand where some of the hate comes from. Honestly, if I play God of War Ragnarok, I think that would end up taking it, because it's going to be more focused in its design, and I'm going to like that just more overall, so I could already, almost with confidence, say I would prefer God of War, unless like God of War there's something where they make Atreus a playable character for like a chunk of the game and he just plays like absolute ass. I can't imagine I would run into a problem there. But goddamn, it was a fun game. It was certainly a fun game. I don't want you to get me wrong, like I hated it. It's definitely a great Bayonetta game. It's just trying to figure out where it ranks between Devil May Cry and Astral Chain, which are my favorite games of all time, so that's like already the tough bar to clear, and then seeing where it ranks within all the Bayonetta games at large. And it's been almost like at least a few years since I've played some of those Bayonetta games, so it's hard to like accurately say for sure. That's why I'm having such a hard time trying to figure it out. And it's not like I hated Viola either, it's just inconsistencies in how some of her mechanics work, and me not being well attuned to how those mechanics work. Like, I certainly don't, like I said before, I certainly don't prefer her as a character to play. If I have the option to play her, I'm not gonna play her. And it's that simple. So I'd probably, without playing Bayonetta 2, I think it's on par, maybe slightly better than Bayonetta 2. If you're willing to, if you buy into the summon system, it's better than Bayonetta 2. If you like the multiple Bayonettas, and I think that's where I'm trying to think of like the story thing. I think if I just focus more on the multiple Bayonettas and then I kind of ignore the overarching story, I think I do like it more than 2. I think 2 equally has a shit story, arguably more cohesive of a story. Definitely arguably, because I think they're both equally the same level of cohesiveness. It just feels a little bit more disjointed when you switch between characters, but honestly it's all the same shit. Yeah, because I'm just trying to think. Bayonetta 2 ties more directly into, well, it ties directly into 1 more, because it literally, like, intertwines with the story of 1. But, like I said, the Norse shit of, which they really threw that away, huh? Like, they had Muspelheim and shit, and Alfheim in the first and second game, and they just really threw that in the dumpster for this game. And this is, like, a whole rewrite of, like, everything. There's, like, Bayonetta is Norse-based. Yeah, not anymore. Now it's whatever reality you want it to be. And it doesn't really tie into any type of lore, which is fine, but it kind of throws away its lore, which is a bit of a shame, if you ask me. And that's where I'm like, it's hard to pick, because I didn't give a shit about the Eyes plot line with Loki and Baldur, and I thought it was really stupid. This one I think is also kind of stupid, but I liked seeing all the different universes and seeing like what they were doing in each timeline, and I thought that was neat. But I'm not gonna write home and be like, oh man, The fucking Singularity Sigmund storyline was so good. Oh, what a great plot. Like, no, I don't give a fuck. It was dumb. It was just as dumb as the Loki, Baldur, Nibble, Winter, fucking eyes and mountain shit. It was better when they kept it simple and they're just like, Umbra Witches versus Lumen Sages. Very simple, very straightforward. The witches are fighting the sages. They just want to kill them. Great, that's all you need. Like, they could have just... And this is kind of like why I kind of appreciate this one story a little bit, because I'm just like, oh yes, Singularity. Not the greatest fan of that, but it's just like, oh yeah, he's the being that's in the part of the multiverse, and he's trying to fuck up shit. Just fucking, you want to kill Singularity. He's the overarching villain, kill him. I'm like, okay, cool. You can do that. That is fine. It's just, I guess, throwing all the family stuff and the Luca with the, like, all that, and, like, I guess because you can get lost in the subplots, too, of, like, what's going on, and Ancient China Bayonetta, and the Neo-Tokyo Bayonetta, and the Pharaoh Bayonetta, so it's like, that's where the cohesiveness falls apart, is when you try to, like, factor in all these storylines when they're really not that important to the overarching plot. So it's just like, they give you the big bad, you fight them. And they just throw in all these, like, stupid-ass nuggets of lore, and, like, it's just not tied to the main timeline or, like, the plot of the other two games, really at all. And so if you're here for story, which I don't know why you are, you're gonna be disappointed, I think. I think this is definitely, if you've been here for the Bayonetta plotline, and for some reason not the gameplay, I think this is gonna be the worst one for you. I think that's what I'm settling on. And if you're here for the gameplay, it is debatably better than the second one, or first one, depending on how you feel about the summons. I think that's where it comes down to. And then if you're like one of the other people who are not a fan of the kaijus, I would say you still get your boss fight with the main mechanics. And the kaiju fights are just a extended gameplay version of the climax sequence. In which case I think it's perfectly fine. I think that's cool. So when you separate it from the plot, great game. Love it. I still... It's just not in my top tier list of hack and slash games. I think that's true of all the Bayonetta games, is what I'm trying to get at here. I think Devil May Cry is still the pinnacle if you want a AAA polished, like, HD, just because Astral Chain is also on Switch. If you want, like, the highest quality with the, like, incredible graphics and VFX and shit, just play Devil May Cry. Devil May Cry has certainly got the gameplay. The story is passable. I neither hate it nor love it. I think it wraps itself up a lot nicer than any of the Bayonetta plots ever has. So, and it doesn't do any, like, stupid bullshit. Doesn't try to over-anime. It doesn't try to, like, take itself too seriously, but it also doesn't take itself, like, too lightly either. It just balanced everything correctly. And this is a little bit more all over the place. And if you I think this is the final thought. I think if you just want a traditional, solid hack and slash experience of the Bayonetta franchise, you go with Bayonetta 2. If you want something more and extra, and have, like, a variety of things to do with a lot more options of gameplay options, and, like, from that point of view, then Bayonetta 3. They're all great, though. That's where we gotta end it. I do think all of the Bayonetta games are great games. I do not regret playing them. I had a great time with all 1, 2, and 3. They're just not my favorite games of all time. That's where I think is a good way to end this rant, which will definitely be its own video. There will be the credits rant, and then there will be, like, a plus extra post-game rant if you want to hear me talk about this shit, which if you've made it this far, you've already heard it. You've heard it all. This is where we've been the last, like, hour and a half or so. trying to figure out where these fucking games have ended up on my radar, but that's where I think it's good. I think I've succinctly, accurately described my feelings on where this lands in the hack and slash space, and where I think you'd find them if you're looking to play these yourself. Like, definitely worth a play. You should definitely play them all. If you're interested in hack and slash games, it's definitely worth playing them. They have a lot of cool mechanics all around across each games. I just wish they had unified some of them and kept some of the old stuff in. But yeah, that was Bayonetta 3. Finally, we've reached the end. I will be playing this more offline, just to like do other stuff. But I don't know if I'll ever stream the Expert or Infinite Climax. I'll probably go through the other ones just to see. I will probably stream the other ones again at some point. But I don't know if I will stream Infinite Climax or a second playthrough. Maybe once I have everything unlocked, I might do like an extra... Depending on how Infinite Climax works, I might do that. Otherwise, maybe there'll be a future playthrough of me playing Tokyo Bayonetta in Expert mode. I'm gonna guess no. I'm gonna guess if I had to stream these again, since it's not like Devil May Cry, I would guess not. So the next game I'm going to play, as we're gonna wrap up God of War, and then there's a whole God of War Ascension. There's a whole laundry list of games I want to play. I don't know what I'm gonna play after I finish God of War and record that. But we're done with Bayonetta finally. That was a good time. So yeah, check it out. Check it out if you like hack and slash games. But that is it for me, and we will see you in the next video, or if you're checking out the God of War, maybe we'll get the fighting games going again now that this is done. But yeah, thanks for watching, and we'll check out next time. See ya!